I couldn't even believe when she was in that corner that she was like, "Go back to sleep," and he just like rolled over. I thought he was gonna keep staring at her. Like, no way, I
He
would
didn't
just.
sleep. It showed him just with his eyes open. But yeah, I
Yeah.
would not sleep.
Yeah, there's
I would
no
get
way
the
I
hell
would
out of
have.
there.
There's no way I would have kept my like eyes off her. Yeah, are you kidding me? I can't believe he just rolled over and took his eyes off her.
It's true. Yeah, I wouldn't like leave her my sight.
Yeah, that was nuts. Alrighty, boys. So, kind of a little banger movie that I didn't really see coming that we just went and saw was Obsession, a new horror movie.
Yep.
What'd you guys think about it initially? Because this was a banger.
Yeah.
That I didn't see coming.
It kind of came out of nowhere. It's been out since like I think May 15th was the release date or whatever. And yep, I've heard just good and more good things on social media throughout the last week or so. And yeah, we ended up going to see it, and yeah, I really loved it. It was one of my probably my favorite movie this year.
I was about to say, yeah, you convinced me to go see it, and I wasn't expecting that. I haven't really seen anything too much on it. So when you were like, we should go see the new horror movie Obsession, I hadn't been paying attention to it. I hadn't seen any trailers or anything. So I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. It was a pleasant surprise. What did you think about it, Sean?
I thought it was pretty gory for like, I didn't expect it to be that bloody or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, pretty unpredictable too. A lot of crazy different moves.
I thought it was somewhat comparable to Weapons.
Yeah.
It kind of had a similar vibe to that with like mind control or almost like voodoo dolls in a sense. Not really voodoo dolls, but they kind of like hinted at that in there. Like voodoo magic, I guess, to basically control somebody's body.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of had a similar vibe to Weapons, but I definitely think this was a better movie than Weapons for sure.
Yeah, kind of that creepy factor, kind of that like eerie like moments like that in the movie.
Yeah, definitely some really weird feelings. A lot of moments where it feels like jump scares are about to happen.
Although there weren't that many jump scares. There were a couple like
Yeah.
jump scares, obviously, but that wasn't the big point of the movie.
Yeah,
Never
it
been
had the
before.
vibes like there was going to be a jump scare, but there rarely was.
That's what kind of keeps you on your feet. Like,
Yeah.
watching it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But definitely a lot of weird, eerie moments for sure. So just kind of getting into the plot of the movie here. Main character of the movie is Bear Bailey. I don't even remember Bailey being his last name. I do remember them calling him Bear, but it's Baron, so they were calling him Bear for short. He's essentially, it starts out, he's kind of role playing how to ask this girl that he really likes, Nikki, how to be his girlfriend. So this girl that he's friends with, he wants to ask her to be his girlfriend, and he's kind of role playing with his best friend Ian at a diner. Well, he's role playing with like a waitress at the diner, and Ian's kind of advising him on giving him yes or no, or giving him pointers on what he should do to like how the conversation should go.
Yep.
Then where did they take it from there? Didn't they?
It was kind of showing them at that trivia night, and then
Yeah, they went
were
to like
kinda-
a bar.
showing them talking, and
Yep.
and then they end up leaving that bar, and Bear takes Nikki home, like offers to take her home, and that's when that kind of started in the car. I thought that was a pretty good scene of her like walking away. Well, it did show him going to buy that one wish low first.
Yep. So yeah, not to jump too far ahead because he did go home. He went home first. He was going to bed. He discovers that his cat is dead.
True, yeah.
So his cat had gotten into some kind of sleeping pills or some kind
That's
of
what
like
it was, yeah.
antidepressant medication, something, got into some kind of medication. He had all kinds of, it was kind of interesting because he opened a medicine cabinet. He had all kind of prescriptions in there. Now, I don't know if that was his or if that was his grandma's.
Or mom. It said Barbara Bailey on the
Okay.
tag or
See,
whatever.
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, it
but
said
yeah,
that on
he
there.
I think he said something later in the movie about how he inherited the house from his grandma, or when she passed away, he just took the house.
That's probably what it was,
And then he
yeah.
started living there. And so the cat got into those pills. His cat died, which is kind of an important point for later. Looks like he's just going to go to bed. Nikki, the girl that he really likes, calls him, convinced him to go out to trivia night. He wasn't really feeling it. And then he ended up going anyways because she had called him and convinced him to go. And then she had complained on the phone that she had dropped her crystal necklace like down the drain.
Yep.
So to try and do something nice for her, he went to that shop because he was going to buy a crystal necklace. He didn't really find the one that he wanted to get or didn't see anything that he thought that she would like. So he was going to get, he saw like a section that had what looked like voodoo dolls, and it had the one wish willows. It
Yep.
looked like a little toy where you basically make a wish and you break a stick. It's like this little magic stick. You break it, and then it's supposed to grant you a wish. So he just thought it was like a funny, like gag gift that he could almost give her as like a joke to kind of cheer her up. So he bought that, and then that's when they ended up going to the trivia night, and then he ended up driving her home after. He ends up giving her a ride home because I think she was asking Ian to give her a ride home. And what was the other girl, Sarah?
Yeah.
Yep. So Ian and Sarah, they were going to go somewhere else, and so Bear ended up giving her a ride home. When he gets her home, she almost confronts him when she gets out of the car about if he actually likes her or not.
Yeah.
She's like, if you like me, you need to just tell me. And he acted like he had a gift for her. It was going to be the One Wish Willow, and then he said, "Oh, never mind, I forgot it at home." So he was kind of like stumbling over his words there. He was like, I forgot it at home." He didn't end up saying anything to her. He said he liked her as a friend, type of thing. She goes inside, and then he pulls out the One Wish Willow and goes to use it himself. And I think he just kind of used it as a joke. He was kind of frustrated with himself, and he was like, I wish Nikki would love me more than anyone else in the world."
Yep.
And he breaks it, and then when he breaks it, it gets really eerie and weird after that, because when he looks to the side, you can just see her silhouette. She's on the porch,
standing there.
So she's back outside, just standing there. And then that's where it starts to get really weird, because she comes up and starts talking to him. She runs around to the door. She
Opens the door.
Yep,
to get him to come inside. And
Yep. Yeah, she was trying to convince him to come inside with her, and then she ended up hopping back in the car, and she was just like, "I'm just gonna go home with you then." But yeah, she starts acting very weird and very awkward, and he didn't pick up on it at first, that it was the One Wish Willow that actually worked. And, you know, of course, who would think that? So yeah, he just kind of gets really weirded and freaked out by the way she starts acting.
Yep, and that's when they end up starting a date, and it kind of goes through a quick like flash through of them dating and like looking all great.
Yeah,
but then I
goes
really
through like a little time lapse.
Yeah, and then it really turns when it was a night scene, and it showed him sleeping, and he wakes up, and she was not on the bed next to him, and God, that was probably my favorite scene of the movie.
Yeah, that was probably the weirdest scene of the movie for sure.
Yeah, he turns and looks around, and I don't even see anything.
Yeah,
at
he's
first.
like kind of panning the room, and it's in the dark. You can't see her at first. It's not focusing on the corner she's in, and then he focuses on the corner. Or did she make a noise?
I don't think so. I think he just saw like her silhouette or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, that was super weird. And then she did that weird little like dance out of the corner, and then she starts talking, and then she did that like weird little dance back up into the corner. I was like, whoa, like she was on like a time lapse. It was so
that was
weird.
And she was like, "I'm just watching you sleep. Like you look so cute when you sleep or something."
Yeah.
That was
So she's just completely obsessed with him. Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if it was that same night or the next day. Remember, he woke up and was going to work, and she had the door tape shut, all duct tape like shut.
Yeah, he had came out, and she had
made breakfast.
She had made him breakfast, and then isn't that when she had the little seance going with the cat on the ground? She was like, she had some candles and stuff laid out.
He's like, "You can't do that."
Because he had put the cat into a garbage bag and was going to get rid of it or bury it or whatever, and then she had went and retrieved it from wherever he had it and laid it out like in the kitchen. And he was like, "Okay, Nikki, you can't do this. Like, this is too weird." So that's where it got like really weird.
It showed her like making lunch for him. It didn't show him making it, but took the lunch. She's like, "I packed you lunch." Yeah. And he ends up going into work, and it was that note. Sarah read the note, but it was like about a cat.
Yep, on the back of the note, it was, "What's the verdict?" Like, what for him being a food critic?
It said cat.
It said cat question mark.
Because Sarah was like, "What does that mean?" And it kept like showing. He was just looking at it.
Yep. Yeah, he
started bite out of the sandwich.
He started putting the pieces together that she had cooked the cat. Yeah, and when she had the door duct tape shut, she was trying to get him to almost like not leave by not being able to get the door open. And she was like, "You can just stay home." But he was like, "Nope, I got it." And he just kept ripping the door open. And then that's where it got really weird too, because she ended up like peeing all over the floor.
Oh yeah, she was standing there.
She was standing there like a statue with that big awkward smile on her face.
Dude, that was weird.
Yep. And then when he ended up coming home later, she had like thrown up all over herself. She didn't move until he opened the door, and she was like, "You're home finally." And she like broke out of that trance she was in. She had stood there all day waiting for him to come back to the door.
That was weird.
Yeah, and even weirder right before that was when he was in the car, because he was freaking out thinking the One Wish Willow had worked.
Yep, called.
So yeah, he was he was reading the box, and then it was if you have any questions about it or whatever, call. And he ended up calling that number and talking to that really weird guy on the phone.
Apparently that guy was the director.
Oh, really? He was the voice of the
what's
phone.
his name? Is it Curry? I'm just going to make sure real quick.
Yeah, because isn't the guy who directed the movie or made the movie some kind of YouTuber?
Yeah, he used to make YouTube skits and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So he was actually pretty big on YouTube. Curry Barker, that's his name. Yeah, he was the one that did the phone. Like, he was the voice on the phone.
Phone call.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was cool. But yeah, that was interesting. Then it kind of showed Nikki. It's like, "Do you want to talk to Nikki?" And then
he didn't mention anything about Nikki. He was just talking about his wish, but he didn't mention anything about her or who he was. So he was like, "Oh, well, I have Nikki here if you want to talk to her." And she was screaming in the background like she was almost getting tortured or like held hostage, but somehow he was like tapped into her mind.
I think it was the real Nikki, but she was just trapped inside. So she's literally just screaming like it's probably either painful or she's just like in a hell type thing.
Yeah, see, that's what I didn't get. Is it like he has control of her mind somehow, or it's her physical form, because it's the same physical body, right? For Nikki.
Yeah, because it jumped. This is kind of a later too, but remember she was laying in bed. She's like, "Just kill me, please."
Yep.
That was really her,
Right.
But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
obviously it like cuts.
So
like,
they're
between-
sharing the same body, but it's like two different personalities type of thing.
Yep, and then you learned in that wish in that phone call it can't be reversed until the person who made the wish dies. So that kind of comes back later.
So basically, yeah, he kind of starts to like realize, like, okay, I'm probably gonna have to kill myself to break the cycle of this.
Yep.
He kind of gets an alternate plan later. He thinks maybe he can buy another one wish willow and get somebody else to make a wish to reverse his wish. Because the way it kind of works is they end up revealing that one person gets one wish.
Yep.
So as one person, you can only use the one wish willow once. Because he tries to get, when he goes back to buy more, he tries to get the guy at the store to do it, and he's like, "Dude, no way! I've already used my wish a long time ago."
He tried to do it again too when he was trying to break it. It didn't break though.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so it's some kind of like dark magic. He was trying to break it, but it's impossible to break because he's already made a wish in the past. So
Yep, and then they end up going to that party where it was supposed to be a boys' night, but then she came along because he didn't tell her no. But then that was a really weird scene. She like stood up and was doing that monologue, like it was saying something she was writing, but it did not sound like it.
Yeah.
It was something about a wish, willow tree, and stuff like that.
Sarah was to his left when they were doing like a truth or dare type
Jenga game.
Yep. And he was kind of dared to kiss Sarah, who was to his left, or kiss the person to his left, which was Sarah. And then she gets up. She has that really weird look on her face.
She had a
goes,
frown,
Yeah,
remember?
it was like so awkward. And then she walks in behind her. I thought she was going to do something to her there,
Like
but she
hurt her
just
or
ends up dragging her chair back. Yep. And everybody, like the awkward silence in the room, you can like hear a pin drop.
And then she was like, "I'm just kidding." Like,
Yeah, she got down on her knees to like get a kiss from Bear, and then
Yeah.
when he ended up kissing her, she stood up and she was like, "I'm just playing around, guys," and she had like that real awkward.
But that's
laugh.
when I think everyone was just looking at her, and then that's when
Yeah.
she stepped over. She like hit the table really quick, and then she started like hitting
she
her
picked
face.
up like a wine glass or something and started
Yep.
jabbing herself in the face,
Yeah.
like breaking the glass into her face.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
was
was crazy.
Feels like the real Nikki trying to like just kill herself because she wanted to die. Yeah.
Could have been, yeah. It
Snap.
seemed as if she was jumping back and forth between the two personalities. Like some bits of it could have been
It
the real
was,
Nikki,
yeah.
and then some bits were the fake Nikki.
Because remember at the beginning, not the beginning, but like when they started first, like in the relationship, remember she screamed in the bed when they were kissing, and then I think the
Yes.
real Nikki turned on
Like,
for a
tapped
second.
in for a
'cause
second,
Then
yeah.
she was like, "Whoa!" Like and
Yeah, she
screamed.
jumped back and she was like, "You're taking advantage of me," or something like that. And he was like, "You kissed me," like, yeah.
And then it turned back to the like freaky Nikki.
Yeah. She had mentioned that in there too. She was like, "I'm your little freaky Nikki" at one point. And
Yeah,
he
because
was like,
Ian's
okay.
like, you should bring that. People, I kind of saw a theory. It was like he was trying to sabotage, like Ian, his friend, to bring that up to her, and she's like, I don't like being called that.
Yeah, because to be, to kind of jump ahead.
Because he was like flirt with her, playful, like be mean to her. Ian said at the beginning.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, because kind of to jump ahead later, obviously Sarah, the other girl, ended up having a crush on Bear.
We learned that.
Which was interesting because before he did the One Wish Willow in the car, when he was taking Nikki home initially, she had said something about, hey, like, do you like Sarah? Because I think Sarah likes you type of thing.
Yeah.
So she was almost trying to set them up, but he wanted to be with Nikki.
Yeah.
So they were kind of planting the seed for that. And then later on, Sarah ended up calling him.
meet
And
at
that
night.
kind of jumps into your scene you were bringing up where Nikki was in bed and she was like, oh, just kill me.
Yeah, that
like
night.
she's asleep, like don't wake her up type of thing. So she was like still tapped into the mind, like the fake Nikki was asleep, so the body was asleep, but the real Nikki was able to like still talk.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yep. And then
She was like trying to kill her. Like, just kill me, please.
because he was gonna sneak out to go meet up with Sarah because she was texting him, and then when he went to go meet up with Sarah, that's when she ended up revealing that Ian and Nikki had actually been hooking up.
Yeah.
So she was
She
like,
didn't say romantically, but yeah, they've been
yeah,
like,
she was
casual.
like they've been hooking up on and off for a while. So yeah, like I don't want to hurt your feelings, but because Ian and Sarah both thought the relationship between like the son relationship between Nikki and Bear was weird because Sarah had said something about that Nikki had friend zoned him in the past.
sees him as like a little brother.
Yeah.
And then we get that Sarah death scene.
Yeah.
That's because the whole time they had those car shots. I
They
was
were going
waiting
back
for
and
someone to
forth,
hit the
yeah.
car or something. And yeah,
God.
that was one of the jump scares. Yeah, she broke the window with
Yeah,
that
they
brick.
they were going back and forth between the window, like the camera angles of the windows, like showing the outside. And I was like, man, she's gonna pop up here at any minute. And all of a sudden, you could just see her running up to the driver's side of the car where
Yep.
Sarah was sitting. She bust the window and put the brick against the steering wheel and literally
Boom,
jammed
boom,
her.
boom. Like 20
30
times.
times, yeah,
Apparently,
it's-
there's an unrated. I saw people like the director did. There's an unrated cut that's like longer scene of that. Like that's
Really?
apparently they might release like whenever, but that'd be kind of interesting.
Just more
because
slams
apparently
into
that
the
was like an
brick, or-
NC-17 scene, which is like higher than rated R. So like, Jesus.
Okay.
What would
Yeah.
that
What
be?
level of gore are we getting to? Because Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was crazy too. The camera angle they put on Sarah when her head got thrown back when she was already dead. Obviously, Nikki ran over to the passenger side to like comfort Bear type of thing,
Yep.
and then when he looked over at Sarah's face, couldn't even like
saw an eyeball, like a
yeah,
little
saw
bit.
an eyeball. All of her facial features gone. Like her
Gone.
whole facial structure just completely
Jesus.
gone. Yeah, that was nuts. I was just waiting for Nikki to go crazy and kill somebody at some point. So
Then they end up keeping Sarah's corpse in Bear's house. Like ends up showing her later. Where was Bear at? Because remember he came home and Sarah was like in that other room, and then she
Well,
had that whole
'cause
seance thing as well.
he went to Ian's house.
Oh,
Because
Ian's,
that's
that's it,
when
yeah.
he was going to go. He was going to try and get Ian to make
wish.
a wish to reverse his wish.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
then when he was confronting Ian, he was like, "Oh, I already know you and Nikki have been hooking up. This is this is like what's been going on with the whole." He's just basically started revealing everything that had been going on
Yeah.
to Ian, and Ian wasn't believing him. And he was like, "Oh, bro, I don't even give a shit that you and Nikki have been hooking up. Like, I just want to reverse this wish type of thing."
Yep.
Ian obviously thought he was playing around, so he was like, "Oh, I wish for $1 billion," and broke it. And, yeah, and then all the money just starts pouring in from the
Raining down.
ceiling type of thing, and
Yep.
then he believed it. Yep. And then that's where Bear freaked out because he was like, "Well, Ian just wasted his wish." He rushes home, and then that's where it kind of all pops off towards the end.
Yeah, that was the kind of the end last act there, last couple scenes.
Yep.
Yeah, because he sees Sarah's corpse in the house.
Yeah, when he got in there, she had Sarah. Nikki was trying to get him to help burying her or
Yeah.
getting rid of her body. So they show her like putting her in the trunk of the car and things like that. And then Nikki was like, "Oh, I'll take it from here. You head home or whatever." And then that's when he went to Ian's and things like that. But yeah, when he ended up coming home, Nikki was like all dressed up in the. She was like in a kitchen chair, like all set up and like posed. She had no clothes on or anything. Her face was still completely gone.
Yep.
It was like, bro, what is she doing here? And then so she had like completely dressed her up for like a moment or some kind of like ritual or something for him to come in and see her. Because basically, Nikki ended up realizing that he actually liked Sarah, and he had obviously freaked out because she was trying to get her college acceptance letters.
Yeah.
And that last one, she
got
ended
in.
up getting accepted, but she had just gotten killed by Nikki before
Yep.
they were able to open the letter and get that reveal. Yeah, so he was obviously heartbroken about that. And then yeah, she did that weird little like dance behind him. Did you see that?
Yep, in the
when he was
back.
looking at
Sarah.
Sarah, he was kind of calling for Nikki, and then he saw Sarah. He kind of freaked out to that,
kinda-
and she did like a little two-step behind him in the background. And yeah, that was so weird. And then when he turned around, she had like a cigarette in her mouth, and she was all dressed up like Sarah. She had like taken like a permanent marker and drawn her tattoos and stuff
yeah.
on. And didn't she have like a piercing or something kind of
think
like Sarah?
so.
Yeah, but she was in like a outfit like Sarah would wear. So she was trying to make herself look like Sarah to make Bear love her even more. So then it was kind of like Uno reverse card after Uno reverse card there at
Yep.
the end, because he had kind of gotten to a little back and forth with Nikki, and they were sitting on the couch, and then Ian storms in, and Ian was like, "Bro, I've got so much money, we can do whatever we want," type of thing. He storms in and interrupts the conversation.
Yeah, the
and then
gun already.
Yeah, and then Nikki just takes the gun and just shoots Bear, just literally headshots him between the eyes. Like it was just happened so quick.
Yeah, that's when Bear goes into the bathroom.
Well, he was almost comforting her at 1st. He was comforting her after shooting Ian, and then he was like, "We're gonna make this right." And he gets up and goes to the bathroom, and he took the gun, and he was gonna shoot himself, but couldn't do it. He
Yep.
just couldn't
Pull the trigger.
Yeah, couldn't pull the trigger. Kind of had like, didn't he have the gun up to his head, and then he put the gun in his mouth, and he just couldn't do either
Yep.
one. Yeah, or no, he had it to his chest. He was gonna
Oh,
shoot
yeah,
himself
his
in the
arm.
chest, and then he was like I don't know if that's gonna work, type of thing, and then he put it in his mouth. So it was like, golly,
Yep.
I
And
was
then
like, no way, he's about to just kill himself and like roll credits here.
Yeah, that's when it shows him going in the cabinet and grabbing those sleeping pills or whatever they were.
Yeah, whatever they were, yeah. And
Swallowed a bunch of those.
Yeah, literally. He took a whole handful down the hatch because basically he was just going to try and like
Kill himself.
overdose to kill himself.
I would rather shoot myself, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, but yeah, and it was crazy because as he was trying to do it, she was banging on the door,
Yep. And then you hear the stick break.
well, she was banging on the door before he was about to shoot himself, and then he was like, "I'll be out in just a minute," and then
Yep.
she was like, "Okay," and just kind of like left him alone.
Yeah, she's like, I think we need some space, and it was kind of like
Yeah.
acting
Yeah,
a little
he was
weird.
like, yeah, she was like, "We can take some space."
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, yep, he starts taking the pills, and then
You hear the stick
and
break.
then you hear the stick break, and it was like, holy shit. Like at first I kind of like thought oh, maybe the real Nikki took over for a second and she reversed his wish, kind of like what he wanted Ian to do.
Nope.
But no, sir. Yeah, when he came out, I realized that
Well,
he,
it turned that wish turned on him because remember he was gonna do like he was gonna
he kind of got like a smile on his face and like got up. He kind of like perked up and got up and just walked out of the bathroom.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh my God, she just wished for him to be in love with her.
Yep.
So now I thought like, holy shit, they're just gonna be like a
obsessed.
Yeah, just like an
both.
obsessed, like crazy couple where they just go on like a rampage together, and then he ends up obviously the drugs that he had taken or the pills kind of kicked in, and then he ends up dying. He ends up overdosing, foam out of the mouth, and then when he dies, she's about to take the gun and kill herself because the wish is still like enacted on her at the moment.
Yeah.
So she's about to kill herself because she's so distraught that he just died. Right before she shoots herself, the wish reverses because it finally,
He dies.
Yep, he officially dies, and then the wish kind of like reverses itself onto her.
Yep, and she's back to normal.
Yeah, and then now she's like realizing where she's at, and she's like scanning the room. Ian's dead right there. Sarah's dead behind him.
Dead right
He's
there.
like all her best friends, her whole friend group. Yeah, and then it just a bloody scene all over that house.
And that's the end credits too, because it kind of like reversed.
That was sick. I had never really seen a movie do that. That was kind of like a cool, like little cherry on top at the end, the way it like reversed the room as she was screaming and freaking out, and then the static on the TV, and then the credits kind of rolled on the screen. Yeah, that was sick. You guys have anything else to kind of mention about it?
I think it's I know it's doing really well box office wise. Like it's in like for the second weekend, it's made more money in the second weekend than the first, which is like unheard of, like especially for modern movies.
Typically, opening weekends, your biggest role out there.
So that just proves the word of mouth and social media of this movie has been. I see it all over my social media now. Maybe that's just because the algorithm. It's like because I've been like liking posts about the movie, but yeah, I see a lot of people talking about it. I haven't seen really one person complain about it or say everyone at least says it's a good movie. So
isn't it breaking records as far as like lowest budget to make the most money?
I know Blair Witch Project because that one made like over like 100 or 200 million. I don't think we'll get there, but it's definitely up there.
What were the numbers on this? What did it do? Like, what has it done in sales so far? And what was the budget? Wasn't the budget only like $1 million?
Yeah, it was like $1 million or less than $1 million. Yeah. Then as of right now, we're recording this on like Sunday, May 24th. It's made almost 80 million worldwide.
That's a good day at work for less than $1 million.
Yeah. Overall, though, it's definitely probably my favorite movie this year. It's either that or Project Hail Mary.
Best horror movie I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Like a lot of horror movies are kind of like overrated or disappointing or just kind of like the same old thing over and over. But this one was a different concept, kind of a similar concept to Weapons as far as like mind control and like
that
voodoo magic type
horror.
Of thing. Yeah, but it was really good, man. It was really solid. It was surprising.
I can't stop thinking about it.
it's definitely a sleeper. I'm just trying to think of any other like crazy moments that we maybe didn't touch on during the movie.
The diner scene was a big one. A lot of people. I saw that. I think they put that clip out like itself, like the movie studio.
The diner scene,
or where she was like, no.
Oh,
like,
you mean like the restaurant, like the date night they were on?
Yeah. Because that was like,
or it was like their anniversary or something. I don't know. Some kind of date night they were on. Yeah, they were at a dinner, and that's what it was. Because Ian had called him because she had said they were trying to figure out why she was so distraught before he had figured out the whole Make-A-Wish Willow thing had kicked in on her. So they were trying to figure out why she was acting so weird. And then she had said that her dad, who apparently she didn't even talk to, had no kind of relationship with, was sick and he was dying, like he had cancer. Yep. And then Ian ended up figuring out that her dad didn't even have cancer, and like the story she told them of the facility or the hospital he was checked into, he was never even registered there. They'd never even heard of him type of thing. When he came back to the dinner table after that call with Ian, he kind of confronted her on it. And then she almost had like a get out moment there where she was like, no. And then she got up and she just started screaming like, I thought we were having a nice dinner. And like the whole restaurant like stopped. It was definitely, that was an awkward scene. And then he said something to her just, he was like, we are having a nice dinner. And then she just completely like mood switched and sat back down. Yeah, I was like, whoa. Yeah, so definitely like a really weird vibe the whole time.
I think she should win awards though. I think she was really good.
Yeah, she bodied that.
Apparently, because the Weapons woman, I forgot her name, but the main girl in Weapons, the crazy
the
one,
older lady,
she won the Oscar for like supporting actor in a movie. So, and I thought she was good, but I think she was just as good as her.
Yeah, for sure. I think she was better than her.
Yeah. Overall, though, definitely a nice surprise though. I love going to the movies and not like really knowing much about it, and then it's really turns out really good.
Didn't even see a trailer. Didn't know anything about this. I don't know any of the actors that are in it besides Andy Richter.
Yep, that's the music or like Sarah's dad.
Yep.
Yep.
But yeah, really good. Let's kind of give ratings overall. Scale of 1 to 10, what do you guys give Obsession?
I'm gonna give it like a 9.5 out of 10. Yeah, I thought
Okay.
it was my probably favorite movie of the year, and then I just for what I
Yeah.
was going into it as, I felt like
Yeah.
I enjoyed it in all facets. So
It's kind of hard to compare it to like other movies this year, like something like a Project Hail Mary that's like a drama or like something like an action movie. Ranking it on a scale of horror movies, probably give it like an 8.5, 9, just as far as horror movies. Super interesting concept, not your typical like demons or ghosts like The Conjuring or like a Paranormal Activity or anything like that. So yeah, it definitely kind of stands alone in its own category. Weapons is the only thing that I've seen that's kind of similar to it, and I thought it was better than Weapons. So yeah, ranking it on a horror movie scale, I give it like an 8.5, 9.
Yep.
It's up there, man. It was really good. It had really good pacing. It kept me like intrigued the entire time. And I was kind of like rooting for their relationship at the start before that all went sideways and got really weird and awkward. Yeah, I was kind of like rooting for that at the start.
I'm gonna give it a solid 9. I think the story was really good.
Yep, 100%.
Like unpredictable. Like you would not guess what's gonna happen next.
yeah,
Oh yeah, like when he came out to the kitchen and she was giving him the lunchbox and everything kind of seemed normal, and he turned and it showed the whole door duct taped. It was like, bro, what
yeah.
the hell?
And then remember that we didn't talk about that scene though at the music store when they first go to work. Remember her just standing there looking at them
And
the
she
entire
had that
time.
like, yeah, didn't she have like a weird smile
I
or
think
like
so,
a
a little bit.
Joker
Or
like
she was
smile?
just, like,
She was like
looking at
staring
them.
at them like literally like a statue, like
Yeah.
not moving.
It was a good like 2-minute scene, and
Yep.
because it was Ian and
And they were just showing her like blurred in the background over his shoulder.
I was
Oh
like,
my
she's
god.
still. I said to you, I was like, she's still looking at her.
Yeah, this like eerie feeling. Yeah, it was like an eerie, weird feeling. Like you just felt like she was gonna pop up at any moment in the movie when he wasn't with her.
Yeah.
like when he was on the phone with the support number. For
I was
the,
waiting.
Yeah, I was waiting. He's like in the driveway. I was waiting for her to like pop up at any moment. Yeah, so good. Just kept you on your toes the whole movie.
Yeah.
Just felt like that eerie feeling like there was going to be a jump scare around every corner, especially at night when they were sleeping. I couldn't even believe when she was in that corner that she was like, "Go back to sleep," and he just like rolled over. I thought he was going to keep staring at her. Like, no way. I
He
would
didn't
just
sleep. It showed him just with his eyes open. But yeah, I would not sleep.
Yeah, there's
I'll
no
get
way
the
I
hell
would
out of
have.
there.
There's no way I would have kept my like eyes off her. Yeah, are you kidding me? I can't believe he just rolled over and took his eyes off her.
It's true. Yeah, I wouldn't like leave her my sight.
Yeah, that was nuts.
I
But
think
yeah,
it was crazy every time like the real Nikki broke through. It was like her screaming, so it was pretty intense.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
'cause,
she
like,
was definitely freaked out when she like awoke and they were kissing. Yeah, she couldn't believe. Like, I don't even think she knew where she was at. Yeah.
I think a little bit too of that party. She was like regular Nikki at least like a
At
few
the
times.
start, she seemed like she was talking to everybody and she was super normal.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that kind of dichotomy
Back and
there.
forth. Yeah. That like whole multi-personality thing.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, it was cool. Really cool concept.
I think she'll be in some bigger movies coming up.
Hopefully. Yeah. Anytime we see some of these lower tier actors that are in these movies that pop off like this, I hope they get a shot at some other bigger projects. So
Yep.
yeah, we'll see if they if any of these actors pop up in anything else. But yeah, I think it was really good for what it was. Thank you guys so much for watching our review of Obsession. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like below, leave a comment also letting us know what you guys thought about the movie. If you didn't go see it, we highly recommend it. Come back next week for our next video. Peace.